Assalamu alaikum guys, welcome to the next lecture. Before starting, let me recall what we did in the previous one. We went through the determinants of a matrix, its properties and inverse of a matrix, right? And at the end of the lecture, I said we will go to the elementary row operations of a matrix, which are very helpful in finding determinants and other things. So when we perform those operations, we transform one matrix to another matrix, okay, who are equivalent to each other. So we are basically doing a transformation. We can call it elementary transformation or elementary operation of a matrix. So what can we do as an elementary operations? These are the operations which we can perform. The interchange of any two rows or columns. If I interchange any two rows, we say that we perform an elementary operation on a matrix. Similarly, a multiplication of any row by a non-zero number. Non-zero number, we cannot multiply by a zero number because it will change the whole row to zero. So we can multiply any row by a number, and we can add a multiple of one row into another row. Okay, so an addition of constant multiple of one row to any other row. So these are three elementary row operations, and if we do it on columns, we can call them column operations, but we usually do not mix them. If we are doing the row operations, we will just do the row operations. Okay, so how to find the inverse using these operations? Okay, so what we can do is we can perform row operations and reduce the given matrix to an identity matrix. Okay, so let's say if this is 1, right, I have to make these two 0 because identity matrix, if you recall, identity matrix is 1 0 0 0 1 0 and 0 0 1, right? So if 1 is at the top, then I have to make the below entries equal to 0. Sorry, this is 1. Okay, so this is my matrix. So 1 is there, no problem. So I need these two zeros. So it means I should make this 0 and this 0. So how can I make this 0? If I subtract the first row from the second, because I can multiply by one row and add it to the other. So it means I can multiply this row with -1 and add it here. So it will become 0. Basically, we are subtracting it. So similarly, if I multiply this by 2 and add it here, 2 minus 2 will give me 0. The row which is being used does not change. Okay, in this operation, when we said an addition of a constant multiple of any row, so we are using this row in the second row, so the row which is being used will never change. It will stay the same. Okay, so if I convert this matrix to identity by some row operations, and if I perform the same row operations on identity, it will give you the A inverse. The same set of operations. We are not changing the order of the operations. Same set of operations, same set of elementary operations. Okay, operations. If I apply the same set of operations on identity, the new matrix will be the A inverse. See how simple it is. Okay, if this is my A. So instead of doing it turn by turn, what we do, we write these two matrices side by side. We write a matrix A, and with it we also write a matrix identity. Sorry, identity. We write them together. Okay, now whatever operations I am performing on A, automatically they will be performed on identity. So this will be reduced to identity with some row operations, and because we are applying the same row operations on identity, this will automatically be reduced to the inverse. Okay, this is the method which we use for finding the inverse without using the determinants. Okay, so let's see an example how we can go with it. So a matrix is given 1 1 3 1 3 minus 3 minus 2 minus 4 minus 4, and with it, this is not the determinant, this is just a separation. You can, some people put dots here, dotted line. You can put dotted line. we are putting this line just to separate these two matrices, that this is my matrix A and this is my matrix identity, but we are writing it into one matrix so that we can perform operations together. This is the only difference. We keep on writing this line just to keep them separate from one another. Okay, so as I mentioned, I will use this one to make these two zero, right? So I will use row 1 as it is, but what will be my first operation? Row 2 minus row 1, right? So I'm doing row 2 minus row 1, and this will change my row 2. You see, my row 2 is changed to row 2 minus row 1. Row 1 is not changing. Remember, whatever you are using, you see, I'm using row 1. Okay, so never change this. Okay, it will not be changed. Okay, so here they reduced R3 to 0 by using this. I will prefer you to use the same number 1 for both of them. Okay, so this will also give you 0 here because this is 1. So 2 times R2 into R3 gives you 1. Okay, but if you do 2 times R1, 2 times R1 into R3, then multiply this with 2, then it will becomes 2 into 1, minus 2 gives you 0. But the whole row should be multiplied, not just one number. When you are saying that 2 into R1, it means the whole row gets multiplied by 2. So if the whole row gets multiplied by 2, you will get 2, 2 and 6. Now this will be added here. So you see 2 minus 2 will give you 0. 2 minus 4 gives you minus 2, and 6 minus 4 gives you 2. Okay, so similarly, when you just subtract it from here, so 1 minus 1 gives you 0, 3 minus 1 gives you 2, and minus 3 gives you minus 6. First row is not changed. You see 1 1 3 remains 1 1 3. Okay, first row will not change, it will remain 1 1 3. Now you have to do this here as well. So if you subtracted first row from the second row, you have to do the same thing on this part of the matrix as well. So 0 minus 1, 1 minus 0, and 0 minus 0. You got these three new numbers. 0 minus 0 plus 2. So you got 2, 0, 1. Okay, so this is, so see, your identity matrix has changed a little bit. Now what do I need? I need 1 here now. You see, for identity I need 1 here, and make up and down 0. There are many ways to do it. Okay, so if you want to do it by dividing by 2, you can do it. If you divide by 2, you can do here. They added, because I needed 0 here, this is 2 and this is minus 2, so they added these two to get 0 here. You can make it 1 and then make these two zeros directly as well. It's your choice. Okay, similarly now you needed 0 here, right? You needed 0 here and here. So what he did, he divided this by 4 and added multiple of 6 here, divided by 4 and add multiple of 3 here. You make, so you, by using this 4, they made these two zeros in this step. Okay, in this step we made these two zeros, but I have to make this 0 as well. So you can divide this by 2 and add it here, it will become 0. Okay, so now zeros are in place. This 0 0 0 0 0 0, but 8 8 4, we don't need it. So how we can go? You can divide first row by 8, first row by minus 8, second row by 8, third row by minus 4. So if you divide by that, you will get 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1. So you see, you got the identity matrix in the first place. So this second, whatever you get here, this is my A inverse. Right? As I mentioned, when your A becomes identity, right, your identity automatically becomes A inverse, because we applied the same set of operations on both the matrices. So this is my A inverse. Now again, you can check it at the end. You can check by putting, by multiplying, right? So you have A, you got A inverse. Check whether it is equal to identity or not. From both sides, A inverse into A as well. Don't leave your answer here. Once you reach here, write your A inverse. So whenever you reach here, don't leave your answer here. Just pick this matrix and write it separately as A inverse. Okay, and it's better if you check it. Of course, the checking is not the part of the question, but you can make sure whether your answer is correct or not. Not by just this one, you have to put both of them. You have to multiply from both sides. Sometimes if you get a wrong answer, it gives you identity from one side, but it does not give you identity from the other side. So it's better to check both of them. Here is another example. You can see we made this by row operations. We made this to identity. Okay, and this is your A inverse. I will suggest you to go this way. Bring this one, because you can interchange two rows as well. So why don't you interchange first and third row first? This should be your first step. Bring it one here. So once you bring one here, it's easy to use one and make 0 0. Then try to bring one here and directly make this 0 and this 0. Then try to bring one here and make the 0 0. So this is the best thing to do. Instead of going here and there, make this one and below 0 0, make this middle one up down 0, make this 0 and above both 0 0. This will be the best way to go. The next thing related to this elementary row operations is called the rank of a matrix. What is the rank of a matrix? The matrix A is said to be of rank R. Rank we denote it by small r. If A has at least one minor of order R which does not vanish, and every minor of A of order R plus 1 and higher order vanishes. The rank of A is denoted by a symbol rho of A. This is a Latin word rho. Latin letter, sorry. We call it rho, R-H-O. Okay. We call it rho. So rho of A, or sometimes we just write rank of A. Don't need to write rho of A. The rank of a null matrix is always 0. What is a null matrix? Which is 0 matrix. Null matrix whose all entries are 0 will give you 0. The rank of a unit matrix of order n is n. Unit matrix is identity. Identity matrix is n. And the rank of m by n matrix cannot exceed the minimum of m and n. Okay. So if you have m rows and n columns, then your rank has to be less than rows or columns. If it is a 3 by 4 matrix, then rank has to be less than or equal to 3. If it is 5 by 2 matrix, then rank has to be less than or equal to 2. Okay, they cannot exceed a number of rows or columns. So let's see an example to find the rank of a matrix. Minus 1 0 4 3. This is a second order matrix, or you can say 2 by 2 matrix. The highest order of a minor of A is also the second order matrix. The minor is given by so the minor of a matrix is basically if you make square matrices out of this, because it's a minimum 2 by 2 square matrix, right? There is no 1 by 1 matrix, right? So its only minor is itself. So if you take the determinant of this one, it is minus 3, which is non-zero, and we say that it is the rank is the highest order. Every minor of A of order R plus 1 and highest order vanishes. Okay, so if the first minor, which is 2, is non-zero, it means we say that the rank of this matrix is 2. If this was 0, then the rank will become 1, because it will be 1 less, and because there is no 1 by 1, if all entries are 0, then the rank is 0, and because the second minor is not 0, so rank is less than 2, so it has to be greater than 1, it has to be less than 2, right? So there is only one possibility, it is 1. So if it is non-zero, then the rank is 2, no problem. Okay, so as in this example, this is also a 2 by 2 example, but this determinant, which is also the minor of this one, is 0, right? So it means the rank is not 2. Since the second order minor vanishes means the value is 0, right? So rank cannot be 2, it has to be less than 2. And because all these this is not, if all of them are 0, then the rank is 0. Because the numbers are not 0, the rank has to be greater than 1, right? But from here I can say that the rank has to be less than 2. Strictly greater than 0, less than 2, so only one choice remains, that it is 1. So I can say that the matrix rank is 1 here. Okay, now because this is a bigger matrix, now there are many minors. We start with the highest one. We start with the highest. There is no 4 by 4 minor because rows are 3, columns are 4. So I can make different minors of 3 by 3 matrices. Because it is 3 by 4, so first thing I should start from a 3 by 3. So you can pick the first one. You can pick first 3. This is the first minor, first 3. Okay, so this is the first minor which is written here, right? This one, this is the same thing. So this first minor gives you 0 answer, but I have to pick all of them. Now your second minor will be you can take first, second and fourth. This is the second one. Then you can pick first, third and fourth. This is the third one. And then you can pick second, third and fourth. So there are 4 3 by 3 minors here. Why we call them minor? Because it's not the whole matrix, it's some minor part of it. Okay, but it has to be a square. So there are 4 3 by 3 minors here. So the highest minor is of order 3, means 3 by 3, and these are 4 of them, and all 4 came out to be 0. It's a coincidence that all 4 came out to be 0. It means order cannot be equal to 3. If any one of them is non-zero, I will say that the order is 3 and I will stop here. I will not go further. If any one of them, if any one of these 4 is not 0, I will stop here and say that the rank is equal to 3. That's it. Okay? Rank is equal to 3. But because all 4 came out to be 0, so it means rank cannot be equal to 3. It means I have to go to 2 by 2 minors now. If any 2 by 2 minor is non-zero, I will say that the rank is 2. Okay, so let's go to 2 by 2 minor. The very first 2 by 2 minor is this. The first one is this, right? So I check the first one, 1 1 2 1, it is non-zero. So I can stop here. I don't have to go to other. If this come out to be 0, I will pick another one. Another minor can be this one. Another minor can be this one. There will be many 2 by 2 minors. Many 2 by 2 minors here. Okay, this is also 2 by 2 minor and many 2 by 2 minors. But if the first one is 0, I will go to the next one. If somewhere I get non-zero number, I will stop there and say that the rank is 2. If any one of these is non-zero, I will say that the rank is 3. Because all these 4 are 0 and there is no 3 by 3, there is no more 3 by 3 minors. So I will say that rank cannot be equal to 3, so go to 2 by 2 minors. If 2 by 2 minors, one of them is non-zero, I will say that the rank is 2. Understand? So you have to start with the highest minor. 3 by 3 is the highest, so I will start with 3 by 3 and then move to the smaller ones. Another very important thing, I will come back to this rank. There is another method to find the rank as well. But before that, let's define an echelon form. What is the echelon form of a matrix? Okay. An echelon form of a matrix is a triangular form basically, right? Where if each row of A which has all its entries 0 occurs below every row which is non-zero. So first thing is all 0 rows, means if all the elements are 0, I can call it 0 row. All 0 rows are at the bottom. Okay, and non-zero rows are above. This is the first condition. Then the first non-zero entry in each row is 1. First non-zero entry is each. If there is any 0, it has to be on the right side of 1. The number of zeros before the first non-zero elements in a row is less than the number of zeros in the next row. Okay, so basically it's kind of a lower triangular, means if the first row has, let's say, 1 here, okay, then zeros can be on the right. There may be zeros, may not be zeros, but second row cannot have 1 here now. Second row has to have a 0 here and then start with 1. It may have 0 here as well and then start with 1, no problem. Okay, but now the third row cannot have any non-zero number in these three places, because now it should have definitely three zeros and then there can be one and so on. This is the echelon form. Okay, so this is called the leading entry of every row. So every below row should have the leading entry to the right of the previous. If this is the leading entry, then this leading entry has to be on the right here, and this leading entry has to be on the right of this one. Okay, on the right here, and the right here, on the right. So every next row below row should have the leading entry to the right of the leading entry of the previous row. Okay, so this kind of form is called the echelon form of a matrix. So how we make it? We use row operations to make this. Like we used row operations to get the inverse. Similarly, we use the row operations to get the echelon form. This is not this is echelon form. Okay, echelon form of a matrix. This is W, every row of A. Okay, so similarly, if we make the echelon form, we can also find the rank from echelon form as well. If you get the echelon form, then the rank of the matrix by echelon form is equal to the number of non-zero rows of the matrix in echelon form. So once you get the echelon form, count number of non-zero rows. As I said, the zero rows are at the bottom, right? Every zero row should be at the bottom. So there may be a total zero row at the end. There may be a row which has all the zero entries. So if there are 4 rows and one row is completely zero, then the row rank will be 3. Why? Because non-zero rows are 3. The fourth one is a zero row. Okay, that's how you can find the rank from the echelon form. So let's reduce this to an echelon form. We have 1 here, so it means below it should be 0. As I said, now the next row should have the first entry on the right, so it means this has to be 0 and this has to be 0 as well. So these both should be converted to 0. How we can make it? R2 minus 2R1, R3 minus 3R1. If I multiply this by 2 and subtract, I will get 0 here. If I multiply this by 3 and subtract from here, I will get 0 here. So R2 minus 2R1, R3 minus 3R1 will change R2 and R3, and they will give you 0 and 0 here. Okay. Now I don't have to make, because this is on the right, it's fine. Now my third row should not have non-zero number here, because my first leading entry should be on the right here. It should not be here. So it means I need to make this 0 as well. So if I just subtract R2 from R3, not R1, don't use R1. If you use R1 to make it 0, this 0 will be disturbed by this one. So use the second row, because this is automatic, this is already 0. Now it will not affect this 0. So use this 5 to make it 0. So if I just subtract R2 from R3, right, I will get 0 here. So 0 minus 0 remains 0, minus 5 plus 5 will become 0, and coincidentally 6 minus 6 also becomes 0. So this is the echelon form I will start. Okay, because the first leading entry is here, the next row leading entry is here, and in the third row there is no leading entry, so no problem. Last row can be 0. Now this is the echelon form of the matrix. Okay, this is the required echelon form. Required echelon form of the matrix. So this is not equal to the matrix, this is the echelon form of the matrix. Okay, your matrix is different, but that's why you see we use this sign. This sign, it's not equal, this is equivalent, row equivalent. Okay, this sign. So now if I have to give you the rank of the matrix, then how many non-zero rows are there? There are 2 non-zero rows. Third row is 0. So because the last equivalent matrix is in echelon form, the number of non-zero rows are 2. So my rank of the matrix is 2. Got it? Let's see another example. So you can make this one. So here they changed the first column and third column, because I wanted 1 here. I wanted 1 here. So we brought 1 here and third here by interchanging C1 and C3. We change C1 and C3 interchange. This is the notation. You can write single as well. You can write this. That's we are changing column 1 and column 3. So column 140 becomes the first one, 462 becomes the third one. Now we got 1 here. Why we did it? Why we changed it? Because we wanted 1 at the top. So now below entries should be 0. This is already 0. I will not change it, so I have to make this 0. Right? So how I will make it? R2 minus 4 R1. 4 minus 4 is 0. So R2 minus 4 R1. So 4 minus 4 0. 3 minus 8 becomes minus 5. 6 minus 8 becomes 6 minus 16 becomes minus 10. 7 minus 12 becomes minus 5. Because I multiply this whole row by 4 and then subtract it from this whole row. So all entries will be multiplied by 4 and subtracted from second row. So that's how it is changed. Now I want 1 here, and because all are the multiple of 5, so it's better how to get 1 here, by dividing by 5. So if I divide by 5, I will get 0 1 2 1, right? 0 1 2 1. Now I got 1 here, so I have to make this below 1 0, not the above one, because we are not finding the identity matrix, we are finding the echelon form. Echelon form only has the below elements 0, okay? Above may not be 0, so I will not disturb this 2. I will only make this 1 equal to 0. So if I subtract R3 from R2 from R3, this is not R3 from R2, you are subtracting R3 minus R2, okay? You are subtracting second from the third. So 0 minus 0, 1 minus 0, and again you see all entries become 0 coincidentally. This is my echelon form because I have this. This is also called the pivot element, okay? The first non-zero entry of each row is called the pivot element. So you should have zeros below the pivot element, okay? So similarly, you got, this is the next pivot element, so you got zeros below that, and there is no pivot element in the third row, so we can stop here, okay? Now how many non-zero rows are there? There are 2 non-zero rows again. Number of non-zero rows are 2, 1 and 2. Third one is 0. So again my rank of the matrix is 2. Okay. So I stop here today's lecture. So today we went through the finding inverse of a matrix by using row operations, and finding echelon form of the matrix using row operations, and finding the rank using the minor determinants and using the echelon form. So we studied 2 methods of finding the rank. All right. So I will stop here. See you next time with a new topic. Go through this video. If you have any questions, you can ask me through the WhatsApp group. Stay home and stay safe. I will see you in my next lecture. Wassalam.